So how does an insurance claim work, and how do you file one, and how do you make sure you're getting the most out of that claim? Well, if you found yourself in an unfortunate situation where you have to file an insurance claim, or maybe eventually would have to file an insurance claim, I'm gonna walk through in this video all the different steps in actually filing the claim, and then tips along the way as to how long it lasts, how long a claim can take to process, and then how to maximize what the insurance company is gonna be able to offer you for a settlement. So, my name is Landon. I've been doing insurance for over a decade, helped businesses and individuals across 60+ countries with some of the products that we work with, and I look forward to talking today about the claims process and how we can help you through it. So the claims process can vary based on what is actually happening to you. If you're talking about a commercial insurance claim or a business insurance claim, that may be a tad bit more complex or complicated than a personal insurance claim. But so that we all understand and can work together on this, I'm going to talk about a claim that may be filed on your auto insurance or home insurance personally, because I believe that's probably most applicable to the majority of you that could be watching this video. So I've boiled this down to 8 different steps and 8 different times and things that you have to think about when filing an insurance claim. The average consumer is actually likely to file an auto insurance claim 1 out of every 18 years, and an average consumer is likely to file a home insurance claim 1 out of every 10 years. So even if you are not in a situation where you need to understand how a claim works, bookmark this video because you'll be able to review it later when there is that potential that you have an insurance claim. So, as we talk about the 8 steps, I want to first talk about an incident could have happened. Maybe you lost some property, you got in a car accident, or something happened to your home. The very first thing that I need you to remember is that we need to protect our property. So number 1, I'm going to say, protect our property. Now, I'm not just saying that as a general, this is a good idea, though it is obviously a good idea. You have to understand that in every insurance policy, there are duties and responsibilities for you, the policy holder. One of the main ones is to, using common sense, protect your property. Great example I have is, let's say you have a wind issue and it blew the shingles off and destroyed your roof. And then rain comes and rain infiltrates the home, and a bunch of sheetrock and stuff fall down on top of your stuff. That happens more often than you'd like to consider, but it could happen to you. In that moment in time, you are in your home and you can see there's water falling all over your nice buffet sets and your wooden furniture and your couches and chairs and stuff like that. If I can tell you one piece of advice, it is that please take and move that stuff out of the way. The number of claims that I see and help people through where they just let the stuff get wet, let the stuff get destroyed because insurance will handle it or take care of it is astounding to me. The other thing here is vehicles and damages and accidents and things like that. If your vehicle is in a position where it could be damaged further after an accident, you need to do the very first thing before you talk to anybody, before you engage anyone, you need to move that vehicle out of the way to make sure it doesn't get damaged any more than it already is. So, number 1, protect your property when there's an issue that pops up that you must file a claim. Now, number 2, we're going to talk about the first notice of loss. The first notice of loss is the official term the insurance industry uses for when we first find out about a problem that one of our clients or an insured would have. And so it's really important for you as a policy holder to understand the best way to get the details and frame the situation so that you're communicating to the insurance company what actually happened. Because in those first few moments that are often charged with a lot of emotion, a lot of heightened anxiety because something just happened, you can forget certain details, leave some things out, and that could actually limit the amount of insurance coverage that the insurance company is going to be able to give you. So let's break down what goes into a first notice of loss, whether you're calling your insurance agent, calling the company directly, or filing a claim online. The first notice of loss is the most important step beyond just protecting your property. So let's get into that. So we're going to say first notice of loss. Well, what goes in to the first notice of loss? The very first thing is we have to know what is the time and location of the problem. This is Obviously very relevant to auto insurance claims because you could be driving anywhere and need to, make a claim and have a problem. Notating where that claim occurred is very important. Now, most of the time in a personal policy, you can drive anywhere you want. Some commercial insurance policies have limits as to how far outside of a radius that an insurance company would like to cover claims. Now, that doesn't happen very often. They would deny it, but it's very important that you understand where it happened and when it happened so that they can pretty much pull a police report, hopefully one was created, so that they can get the details of the situation correct. The second thing is a summary of the damage. Now, a summary of the damage is what we call it, but I want to make sure you understand that you need a detailed description of the damage. Some insurance companies will only allow you to put just a little bit of information in the very first opportunity that you have to tell someone what happened. I want you to maximize that. Don't just bottom line it in one sentence what happened. My car got hit by another car. No, my vehicle was struck from behind and that caused damage to my bumper and my rear tires and my trunk popped open and my airbags deployed and boom, boom, boom. You need to make sure that all of the potential things that have gone wrong with that problem that you're in, situation that you're in, are reported to the insurance company. It can make a major difference if you leave details out. The adjuster that calls you later, we'll talk about adjusters in a minute, won't know what to ask you about. So understanding what happened, when it happened, and then a summary of the damage. Give us a detailed summary of the damage so that we can deploy the policy in the best way possible. Number three, are there any witnesses? All right, this is super important because witnesses corroborate the story. Oftentimes in insurance claims, this is gonna come no surprise to you, one party says one thing, one person says one thing, and the other party says another. So how do we come to the middle and figure out who's right, who's wrong, who's embellishing the facts, who's not? Witnesses are where that happens best. So if you have someone that's nearby that witnessed it and they're willing to give you a written statement or a video statement, if you can just take out your phone, shoot a video of someone saying, yep, I watched this person hit you from behind, or yep, I'm a neighbor of so-and-so and the tree fell on their house and it damaged this in this room. You know, there's importance in understanding this actual situation. Again, that summary of what happened, and witnesses can greatly improve that. Now, a police report is another great way to make sure you handle auto insurance claims specifically well. So in the witnesses category, get a police report. Even if it's a small fender bender, I gotta run, this is no damage. You may not think there's external damage to a vehicle, but there may be internal damage to a vehicle when there's a claim. So I always recommend getting a police report. He can sit there and mediate both parties and say, he or she can sit there, mediate both parties and say, this is what happened. Car A, car B went here and here. Make sure that police report is accurate. You can talk to that officer often after the fact. Again, emotions are high when there's an incident. And so you have to make sure you very calmly describe to them what occurred so that they can build the best report possible for you. Witnesses, hyper important in this scenario. Finally, just briefly, you need to have contact information that is accurate. More times than not, people give email addresses that they don't check or that just are not used, and then claims really slow down. So make sure that there's a lot of accuracy in the contact information. If they can't get in touch with you, you're not gonna get that money when you believe you should. So contact information is important. That should be obvious, but the number of people that I've worked with that don't do that right is astounding. So make sure that's right. So before we move on to number three, how long can these first couple of things take? How long does the claims process? Well, protecting your property, that should happen immediately. So I would say right away. The first notice of loss usually should happen in the first 2 to 3 hours of an incident. Obviously, if you're dealing with an intense situation in the moment, that's probably not the time to take out and file an insurance claim. You want to just take those details down in the first notice of loss to make sure that you have that information right, and then that's kind of the next thing you do in the process. Number three, however, is going to be to speak with your agent or company. I'm always going to default and say that you should contact the agent first because that agent's going to do things like help you understand your deductible, help you understand your coverages. There may be things that are not coverable on your insurance policy. And if you file a claim, well, they may charge you a claim and charge you more on your insurance next year because you filed a claim, but it was zero paid out. You didn't get any benefit from it. So talk with your agent to understand how much of this is coverable, how much of this do I have to foot the bill for, and they can also help you through understanding how to communicate with the adjuster that you're going to work with, how to communicate with the insurance company to make sure that you maximize, again, the potential payout that you would get for the claim itself. Again, in conjunction with the first notice of loss, if possible, within the first 2 to 3 hours, you should be speaking with your agent or the insurance company to put them on notice so that they understand what has happened and how they may be able to help and protect you. Number 4, and this is probably the single most important step in the process, and this is probably where you need to pay the most attention. So I want you to bookmark this, save this. When you have a claim, when you have a problem, you're going to want to refer back to this to help you understand how to properly communicate with an adjuster. So adjusters, and I'm going to say that this is the most important. Adjusters will call you or see you in person when there is a loss on your property with auto insurance, home insurance, whatever the loss may be. The adjuster is the person that will ultimately determine how much money you receive. So let me say that again. They are the people that will ultimately decide how much money you will receive based on the policy itself. And so it is not a good idea to make these people mad. Oftentimes I see customers of mine and people that I've talked to in the community that work through insurance companies that just hate insurance so much that they can't even communicate nicely to an adjuster. If you don't, they will not give you the time or day that's necessary. Okay, you need to be friendly if possible to these people. They are going to try and help you as best they can. If you come at them with fire, they are going to try to extinguish that fire before they deal with you. They will put you off. They will deal with you later because they want you to basically settle a little bit. I want to implore you, adjusters are the most important communication link between you and the insurance company. Don't make them mad. Now, an adjuster is going to reach out and they're going to start talking to you about the first notice of loss. So we talked about the first notice of loss. They're going to say, hey, I see this happened. Tell me in your words again what happened. This is where you have a chance when, again, time has settled. You can talk very, hopefully calmly to them about what it is you're dealing with and where the situation has led you. Now, they will often explain to you what you can do as a first, second, third, fourth step to help start to recover yourself. So that may mean getting a rental car if you had an auto insurance claim. That may mean getting estimates. That may mean putting a tarp on your roof. That may mean lots of different things. And the insurance company may not be able to directly pay for that right away. Hear me again. The insurance company may not be able to pay for that stuff right away, but may be able to compensate you back later. Nowhere in an insurance policy do they promise that you will have no out-of-pocket expense when there is a coverable claim. Because at the end of the day, there was something that happened. And though insurance is there to put you back where you were, money doesn't move that quick. And unfortunately, there's been enough insurance fraud in the world that they have to make sure they follow a process that you are getting the right amount of payment that you're owed and due. And so that's an adjuster's role. So they will start to lay out what you can do, what you can't do, how to keep receipts, how to communicate with them. Do you like text? Do you want to email? Do you want phone calls? How do we get the process moving? You will hear from an adjuster within 24 to 48 hours of the problem being told to the insurance company, of the claim being submitted. 24 to 48 hours, you will hear from an adjuster. That person should become your best friend, and you will have a good and successful insurance claim. So what's the next step? The next step is going to be handled by the insurance company itself, and that is going to be a financial review. What they're going to do, and that sometimes takes 2 to 3 weeks. I know that sounds like a long time, but that sometimes is how long it takes. So depending on what happened, they will go through and understand how the policy is going to be able to help you and what the financial impact is to you so that they can make sure that they can, get you the right amount of money. They're going to look at valuations of your vehicle. They're going to look at valuations of your home. They're going to look at what damage was actually done. They're going to corroborate with some of the people that they've told you to communicate with in the estimating process and in the claims process in general, and they will start to figure out how much money the insurance company is going to be able to compensate you with. Number 6 is the first and initial payment. So the initial payment for coverage. They may be able to extend you within the first, 36 hours or so, the initial payment that they believe they will be able to help you with based on your first notice of loss. A rental car is covered on an auto policy, and so you go get a rental car. Great, they're gonna release some money to you to go do that. Now, you may have to come out of pocket first, but they're gonna try to get you that money as quickly as they can. They can't always, but sometimes they can. The other thing they can do is pay you the actual cash value of a certain loss. So let's say you have a 10-year-old roof that was obviously ripped off by a tornado or heavy winds, and they know that the roof was at least coverable up to $5,000. They may be able to release that money to you because they can clearly see that that's going to be part of the coverage. Even though it may cost you $10,000 or $15,000 to replace the roof, they will then give you the replacement value after the work is completed, or they may pay that directly to the contractor. There's no set way that this final payment or the final insurance payouts are going to be delivered to you. So you have to work with that adjuster. Again, he's your best friend, she's your best friend. You have to make sure that you understand what that process is and how it is that they're trying to determine the amount of money to give you for the insurance claim. Number 7, I need you to always, throughout this process, review and document. You need to make sure that you document everything. Every receipt, every conversation, every understanding that you have. It doesn't mean you have to record everything or take really detailed notes on everything, but you have to understand what are the deliverables that I need to have and that I'm expecting the insurance company to have. I'm here to tell you there are many claims that go wrong, unfortunately, claims that aren't communicated well, and I kind of let the cat out of the bag. The most common reason that claims don't go well is because of a lack of communication. So make sure you communicate well, document, take lots of pictures. Even before a claim happens, you can go through and take a video inventory of your home. You should take a video picture of your vehicle, any extra stuff you have on your vehicle so that they can establish how much the vehicle is valued. And finally, the final step is the final payment. So the final payment for the claim. This can take up to 3 years. Whoa, Landon, 3 years? Yes, it can take up to 3 years, depending on what happened. If there's medical problems in an auto accident, maybe there's a long time issue and you're getting paid out over time because the policy allows for that. And so it could take a long time to get final payments settled out. If it's a cut and dry property loss, it may be faster. But just understand that final payment is the last step. And as you're communicating with your adjuster, who hopefully is with you through the whole process, you'll be able to understand and get the details about how that final payment should be sent to you and how much it's for. So I hope that's helpful. These are the 8 steps in understanding how a claim is filed and how to maximize that claim. Communication. Love on that adjuster, and I promise you, you're gonna have a good claims experience, or the best one that you can have. So thank you for watching. We'll talk to you next time.